Something inside your kitchen needs your attention right now, and before you dismiss this as ordinary, listen carefully. The thing that matters may not be what you expect. It may be sitting in the same place you pass every single day, unnoticed because familiarity has made it almost invisible. Go through this message with me before you rush to conclusions, because what you are about to hear is not meant to create fear. It is meant to make you notice what has been neglected. Your kitchen is one of the most active places in your home. Food is prepared there. Conversations happen there. Decisions are made there. People walk in and out without thinking twice. Yet because everything feels so familiar, the smallest warning signs are often the easiest to overlook. And tonight, there are 7 things I want you to pay attention to. The 7th may surprise you most. First, think about the last time you truly looked around your kitchen instead of simply using it. Not walking in to grab something. Not opening the refrigerator automatically. Not putting a plate in the sink and leaving. I mean actually looking. There could be something expired in the back of a cabinet. Something leaking beneath the sink. Something plugged in that should not remain plugged in. Something sitting too close to heat. Something damaged that you have been telling yourself you will replace later. And sometimes, later, becomes weeks. Then months. Until one ordinary moment forces us to finally notice. So don't panic. Don't imagine something supernatural hiding behind a door. Simply become aware. Because awareness can protect you from problems that fear never could. Start with the refrigerator. There is something strange about refrigerators, we trust them automatically. We hear the familiar hum, see the light come on, feel the cold air, and assume everything inside is fine. But look deeper. That container pushed toward the back. That bottle whose date you haven't checked. That leftover you can't remember preparing. That ingredient you bought with good intentions and completely forgot. Your kitchen quietly keeps a history of your routines. And forgotten food is one of the simplest things worth checking. But that's only the beginning. Because the second thing is more important. Look at what is near your stove. A towel. Paper. Plastic packaging. Cooking oil. An appliance cord. Something you placed there, for just a minute. Small choices around heat can matter enormously. The danger with familiar environments is that familiarity lowers attention. You have cooked there hundreds of times, so your mind says, nothing happened yesterday. Nothing will happen today. But safety doesn't work that way. The absence of yesterday's problem isn't a guarantee about tomorrow. That sentence applies to more than your kitchen. Think about it. How many things in life have you tolerated simply because nothing terrible happened yet? A warning sign in a relationship. A financial habit. A neglected responsibility. A conversation you keep postponing. A decision you know you need to make. Sometimes we don't change because circumstances are comfortable enough to keep ignoring. Then suddenly something happens that makes us say, I noticed the signs. I just didn't act. Maybe that's why this message found you. Not because something terrible is destined to happen. But because you still have time to notice. And there is something else. Check beneath your sink. That forgotten space beneath the kitchen sink is probably one of the least examined places in many homes. Bottles accumulate there. Cleaning products get pushed behind other things. Pipes are rarely inspected unless water appears on the floor. But a tiny drip can exist long before a puddle appears. One drop. Then another. Then another. Quiet problems often grow exactly like that. They don't announce themselves dramatically. They repeat. This is where your kitchen becomes a mirror. Because perhaps there is something else in your life that started as one small issue. One uncomfortable conversation you avoided. One promise someone repeatedly broke. One expense you kept ignoring. One habit you told yourself wasn't serious. One dream you continuously postponed. One drop seems insignificant. But repetition changes everything. And this is where the message becomes personal. You may have been waiting for a huge sign before taking something seriously. But what if the sign is small? What if the thing demanding your attention isn't screaming? What if it's whispering? Most important changes don't begin with dramatic announcements. They begin when somebody finally notices something everyone else overlooked. And you have been overlooking something. Stay with me, because the fourth thing in your kitchen is something almost everyone touches but rarely examines carefully. Your electrical outlets and appliance cords. Look at them. Not obsessively. Not fearfully. Just carefully. Is anything frayed? Overloaded? Loose? Unusually warm? Is an appliance damaged? Is something plugged in unnecessarily? We live surrounded by devices designed to make life easier, and because they work every day, we stop thinking about them. The toaster works. The kettle works. The microwave works. The coffee maker works. Until something doesn't. And that's the deeper lesson hiding here. Functioning isn't always the same as being healthy. A relationship can still function while trust is disappearing. A person can still smile while emotionally exhausted. A household can look normal while everyone inside is carrying something unspoken. A dream can remain alive while slowly being starved of attention. You may be functioning right now. But are you flourishing? That's a different question. Maybe you've been surviving so efficiently that nobody realizes how much you've been carrying. You wake up. You handle responsibilities. You answer people. You solve problems. You keep moving. And because you keep moving, everyone assumes you're fine. But there is a part of you that knows something needs attention. That's why those words grabbed you. Something inside your kitchen needs your attention right now. Perhaps you expected a mysterious object. Perhaps the real revelation is that this familiar room is forcing you to see a pattern you've been repeating everywhere. You notice everyone else's needs before your own. You replace what others need. You refill what others finish. You clean what others leave behind. You prepare. You provide. You organize. You remember. And somewhere inside all of that, you forgot to ask one simple question. What do I need? Don't move away from that question too quickly. Because the fifth thing you need to notice is connected to it. Open one cabinet. Any cabinet you use frequently. Look at what's inside. Some things are useful. Some are nearly empty. Some haven't been touched in months. And some are probably taking up space for absolutely no reason. Your life may look similar. There are people, habits, expectations, memories, and commitments occupying emotional space long after they stopped contributing anything meaningful. You kept them because they were familiar. You kept them because removing them felt uncomfortable. You kept them because you thought one day they might become useful again. But clutter has a cost. Every unnecessary thing occupies space something valuable could use. And maybe this season of your life isn't asking you to acquire more. Maybe it's asking you to release. Release the expectation that everyone will understand you. Release the need to explain yourself to someone committed to misunderstanding you. Release guilt over decisions you made with the information you had at the time. Release old versions of yourself that no longer match who you're becoming. Release the belief that because something has existed for years, it deserves to exist forever. Your kitchen teaches this lesson every time you throw away something expired. Expiration isn't always failure. Sometimes something served its purpose. Then its season ended. And holding on to it longer doesn't honor what it once was. It simply prevents you from making room. Someone listening right now needed that sentence. Because you've been trying to revive something whose season may already be finished. You've been standing emotionally in front of a closed door, asking why it won't open again. Maybe because your next chapter isn't behind that door. Maybe it is ahead of you. And you won't see it while staring backward. But now we reach number 6. This one is extremely practical. Look at your smoke alarm, fire extinguisher, or whatever basic safety equipment exists near your kitchen. When did you last check it? People prepare for meals constantly but rarely prepare for emergencies. We assume we'll handle a problem when it happens. Yet preparation is powerful precisely because it happens before urgency arrives. And that principle matters beyond household safety. Do you have emergency numbers saved? Do people in your home know what to do if something happens? Do you know where important items are? Are pathways clear? Do you have basic supplies available? These things aren't exciting. They don't feel dramatic. But responsible preparation can turn panic into action. And perhaps your life needs that same kind of preparation right now. Stop waiting for motivation. Prepare. Stop waiting for confidence. Prepare. Stop waiting until every uncertainty disappears. Prepare. Because sometimes opportunity doesn't arrive with enough time for you to become ready afterward. You become ready beforehand. There is something you've been considering. A change. A project. A conversation. A new beginning. Maybe you've repeatedly said, when the right moment comes, I'll do it. But what if preparation is what creates the right moment? Clean the space. Make the call. Write the plan. Learn the skill. Save the money. Have the conversation. Take the first reasonable step. You don't need to know the entire path. You need enough courage for the next step. And now we come to the seventh thing. The one most people never think about when they hear the words, something inside your kitchen needs your attention. It isn't hidden beneath the sink. It isn't behind the refrigerator. It isn't inside a cabinet. It may be something much more ordinary. Your table. Look at it. That table has witnessed more than you realize. Meals. Silence. Arguments. Laughter. Celebrations. Bad news. Morning coffee. Late-night conversations. Phones placed face down. Bills opened. Plans made. People who once sat there and perhaps no longer do. The table remembers nothing, of course. But you do. And that's why it can carry emotional meaning. There may have been a time when your kitchen felt different. Someone's voice filled it. Someone had a favorite chair. Someone always reached for the same cup. Someone opened the refrigerator and stared inside as though new food might magically appear. Someone made you laugh. Someone annoyed you. Someone asked how your day went. And sometimes we don't realize how sacred ordinary moments are until they become memories. That may be what truly needs your attention. Not an object. A moment. Your life is happening while you're waiting for something bigger to begin. You may be waiting for more money. More certainty. A relationship. An apology. A breakthrough. Recognition. A perfect opportunity. And while you wait, ordinary life keeps moving. Breakfast becomes afternoon. Afternoon becomes dinner. Dinner becomes another night. Weeks become months. Months become years. And one day you realize the ordinary moments were never the space between important events. They were the important events. So when you walk into your kitchen again, don't just see appliances and cabinets. Notice the life happening there. Notice who is still sitting at your table. Notice who still calls your name from another room. Notice who asks you annoying questions. Notice who steals food from your plate. Notice who sends you messages. Notice who worries about you. Notice who genuinely celebrates your progress. These things can feel small while we have them. Then enormous when they're gone. And there is another revelation. Something in your kitchen may need your attention because you have been rushing. Rushing through meals. Rushing through conversations. Rushing through mornings. Rushing toward a future you believe will finally make you happy. But what happens when you reach it? You'll probably begin rushing toward something else. There will always be another milestone. Another goal. Another number. Another purchase. Another destination. Ambition isn't wrong. Growth isn't wrong. Wanting more isn't wrong. But don't become so obsessed with the next chapter that you refuse to read the page you're currently living. This page matters too. Maybe tonight you need to sit down without your phone for 10 minutes. Maybe you need to talk to someone in your home. Maybe you need to prepare a meal you actually enjoy. Maybe you need to clean one neglected corner. Maybe you need to throw away something expired. Maybe you need to repair something you've been ignoring. Maybe you need to drink some water and actually rest. Simple actions can become powerful when performed intentionally. And here's what makes this message different. I don't want you leaving afraid of your kitchen. I want you leaving more awake inside your life. Fear tells you danger is everywhere. Wisdom teaches you to pay attention without panicking. There is a massive difference. Fear makes every sound suspicious. Wisdom checks the door once and goes to sleep. Fear imagines disaster. Wisdom notices genuine risks and handles them. Fear steals peace. Wisdom protects it. So tonight, choose wisdom. Look around your kitchen calmly. Check what needs checking. Throw away what needs throwing away. Clean what needs cleaning. Repair what needs repairing. Unplug what shouldn't remain plugged in. Move anything unsafe away from heat. Check dates. Check cords. Check beneath the sink. And then, when everything is done, stand there for a moment. Because the most important thing you may discover isn't inside a drawer. It's inside you. You are becoming more aware of what deserves your attention. And that awareness may affect something much bigger than your kitchen. There is a decision you've delayed because part of you already knows the answer. You keep requesting another sign because the first sign would require action. You keep asking for more clarity because clarity creates responsibility. Once you admit what you know, you can no longer pretend you don't know it. That's uncomfortable. But it's also freedom. Think about the thing that immediately entered your mind when I said, delayed decision. Don't force an answer. Just notice what appeared. A name? A job? A relationship? A conversation? A financial decision? A personal goal? Something appeared for a reason. Your mind already associates it with unfinished business. You don't need to make a reckless decision tonight. But you do need to stop pretending it doesn't deserve attention. That's the message. Attention. Not panic. Not superstition. Not fear. Attention. Because your attention is one of the most valuable resources you possess. What receives your attention grows stronger in your experience. Give constant attention to resentment and resentment grows. Give attention to gratitude and gratitude becomes easier to notice. Give attention to a skill and competence grows. Give attention to relationships and connection deepens. Give attention to your environment and problems become easier to catch early. But if everyone else controls your attention, everyone else influences your life. Every notification. Every headline. Every argument. Every opinion. Every comparison. Every piece of online noise. All competing for the same limited resource. Your attention. Maybe that's why something as simple as walking into your kitchen consciously can feel surprisingly powerful. It brings you back into the physical world. Back to what is real. Back to what you can actually touch, clean, fix, prepare, and appreciate. You don't control tomorrow. You don't control what everyone thinks about you. You don't control whether someone finally apologizes. You don't control whether someone recognizes your value. But there are things within reach. You can clear the counter. You can make the meal. You can check the appliance. You can call someone you love. You can organize tomorrow. You can decide what deserves your energy. You can stop chasing someone who only appears when they need something. You can protect your peace without becoming cold. You can forgive without reopening every door. You can miss someone without returning to what hurt you. You can appreciate your past without living there. And perhaps that's the once-in-a-lifetime revelation hidden inside this ordinary message. The life you've been waiting to start may already be happening. Right there. In ordinary rooms. On ordinary days. During ordinary conversations. We imagine transformation will feel dramatic. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes transformation looks like opening a cabinet and finally throwing away what expired. Sometimes it looks like washing the dishes you've avoided all day. Sometimes it looks like sitting at a table and admitting, I can't keep living distracted. Sometimes it looks like deciding that tomorrow morning will not begin exactly like yesterday morning. Not because some magical force will rearrange everything overnight. Because you will participate differently. And that changes more than people realize. Your future is built through repeated ordinary actions. One meal. One conversation. One choice. One boundary. One saved amount. 1 hour of practice. One honest admission. One repaired mistake. One decision to continue. Tiny things become enormous through repetition. Remember the dripping pipe? One drop looks meaningless. Thousands of drops can damage a room. The same principle works positively. One good choice feels small. Repeat it. Then repeat it again. Eventually you look backward and realize those small decisions changed your direction. So when this message ends, don't immediately scroll into another distraction. Give yourself 5 minutes. Walk into your kitchen. Look around. Not because you're expecting something mysterious to jump out at you. Because this time you're entering with awareness. Check what you've neglected. And while you're there, ask yourself, what else in my life have I been walking past every day without truly seeing? The answer could change something. Maybe you'll notice a photograph. A handwritten note. A cup someone gave you. A recipe connected to a memory. Maybe you'll remember someone you haven't spoken to in too long. Maybe you'll simply notice that you're fortunate to have food available tonight. And gratitude will hit you differently. Because somebody somewhere is praying for something you currently call ordinary. Running water. A refrigerator. A meal. A safe room. A person waiting at home. A quiet evening. These aren't small things. Familiarity simply makes them feel small. Don't wait until something disappears to understand its value. That may be the strongest warning in this entire message. Pay attention while you still have the opportunity to appreciate, protect, repair, and love what is here. Tonight, your kitchen is only the beginning. Tomorrow, pay attention to the person speaking to you. Pay attention to your own exhaustion.